It is the remarkable fact that the only full account that my father ever wrote of the story of Tuor's sojourn in Gondolin, his union with Idril Celebrimbor, the birth of Eärendil, the treachery of Maeglin, the sack of the city, and the escape of the fugitives, a story that was a central element in his imagination of the First Age, was the narrative he composed in his youth.
Hey there, gang. I'm Danny J.
And I'm Joel N.
I'm Trevor D.
And together we are...
Keep on Tolkien!
All right.
Yeah.
And you are back again. Because you can't get enough.
Yeah. Yeah, you're balls deep in a long series of episodes right now. Congratulations.
But it's about to pay off.
Yeah,
Because, today's episode is when we're going to get into some stuff that everybody wants to know.
Everybody wants to know. You're going to get a good taste of what you want to hear. Not all of it, but a good taste. And then next week you're going to get it all, right? Isn't that kind of how it's going to go?
Something along those lines.
Something like that. But
it's a multiple course meal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So today is going to be episode 114, and we are still deep into actually coming towards the end of our 100th episode special series on the three great tales of the elder days. Beren and Luthien, the children of Hurin, and as of recently we've been talking about the last of them, the Fall of Gondolin.
Fuck yeah. These three are collectively known as, of course, the Atanatarian.
But so today we're going to be talking about the Fall of Gondolin again. This is our third episode. In the previous two episodes, we discussed the canon version of the story. So basically the most recent version of the tale of Fall of Gondolin, basically how it is in the universe.
Right.
If you were to read the Silmarillion or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But today we're going to be diving into the earliest complete version of the Fall of Gondolin story. This is the version that you can find in the Book of Lost Tales Part 2.
Yeah, that's all where all the oldest stuff is, really, the Book of Lost Tales, really. Yeah, we did the Book of Lost Tales stuff for both the last two tales too.
Yeah, we've been digging into the Book of Lost Tales for this
it's ripe
series on the First Age. And so that's what we're going to be doing this episode, and next episode we'll basically be completing our discussion that we're starting today.
Yes.
This early version of the tale is a little too long to tell in one episode, so we're going to split it into two.
And I really like that we're able to have all the other, older content that Tolkien had, because, you don't get this opportunity with a lot of, different series, right? To see, an original draft or, something that told the story in a different way. And it's really cool and unique that
the development over the years, it is really interesting. Well, speaking of development, let's start off by talking about the construction of this version of the tale. So, like we mentioned earlier, this is the earliest surviving full transcript of the Fall of Gondolin, and it was written somewhere between 1916 and 1917 on 2 school exercise books. And Christopher Tolkien refers to this initial version as Tuor-A.
Right, and the reason why that is because the original title was Tuor and the Exiles of Gondolin, which bringeth in the great tale of Eärendil.
That's a pretty long-winded title.
Yeah.
So this transcript was extremely difficult to read. Tolkien had made many changes and rewrote over the top of the original text, many, many times.
Love that.
So this Tuor-A transcript, very difficult to read. But around 1917, Edith Tolkien, this angel, she actually took this chicken scratch and she wrote down a definitive, clean, legible copy of the tale.
Fuck yeah.
And Christopher Tolkien refers to this version as Tuor-B.
2 sides of a tape.
Yeah, exactly. B-side. The revised Tuor-B version is the earliest form of the tale to be published in its completion.
Yeah, and this version, J.R.R. Tolkien himself actually made many updates to between 1917 and 1920. So this is a little bit more to the point. And this version is found in the Book of Lost Tales Part 2. It also is in the Fall of Gondolin book, the recent recently published book. That's what I went off of for basically structuring this whole series.
Right.
Because the Fall of Gondolin book is really interesting. It goes over all the versions of the tale, basically starting with the earliest.
Yeah.
So this is the one that Christopher starts with in the Fall of Gondolin book, and this is the version we're going to be talking about today. The earliest tale. Christopher also calls this the original tale.
Yeah, I was going to say the original tale. Yeah.
So just in case anybody gets confused, because so many different names, this version of the story technically has 3 titles. It's called The Tale of the Fall of Gondolin, a.k.a. the original tale, a.k.a. Tuor and the Exiles of Gondolin, which bringeth in the great tale of Earendil.
Yeah, remember that one, gang.
The name of this book has like as many names as some of the character titles have.
Yeah.
Speaking of the whole like creation of this tale, though, we have a stay tuned till the end kind of scenario going on here.
Yeah.
Before we dive too deep,
we had so stay to the end of the episode here, guys, because we have a bit for you at the end, which is how we kind of thought this might have happened, could have happened, maybe, right, guys?
Yeah, maybe, possibly.
Yeah,
you never know. You weren't there.
I mean, hey,
yeah, it's basically our imagining of how Tolkien came about writing this tale.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he told tall tales. Why can't we?
Yeah, I mean, there was a moment of inspiration that is legendary, so let's create some legends,
Yeah, so stick around to the end for a little bit of fun.
Yeah. But let's get right into the tale of the Fall of Gondolin, a.k.a. the original tale.
A.k.a. Tuor and the Exiles of Gondolin, which bringeth the great tale of Earendil.
God damn it, yeah. Let's talk about Tuor. Remember Tuor, guys?
Yeah, he's our main character of this tale. So Tuor was a man of ancient days that dwelt in Dor-lomin, and he lived with other men around Lake Mithrim.
Yeah, he's especially known for hunting and also playing the harp. He's very good at both, which is pretty cool, because playing the harp is notoriously difficult, and so is killing things, so,
He often spent time with the wandering Nodoli elves, and he learned their speech and lore, which is another whole bag of things to be good at.
Yeah, learning languages, it's not easy. A lot of people can't do it at all. A lot of Americans only speak one language. People listening to this are going to think that, because we have like people all over the world, that this is their second language, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we're conversing in right now.
Yeah.
Americans are just like, can't be bothered to learn languages. I love it.
Privileged.
Yeah.
So one day Tuor was led by destiny to the opening of a cavern, and he found that there was a small hidden river that flowed down into this opening. And when he entered into the water, the power of Ulmo caused this river to all of a sudden swell up and just wash him down like a water park.
Nice.
All of a sudden it's like a water slide.
Yeah.
Now, Ulmo had intended to use Tuor as his own personal messenger to the elven king Turgon in the hidden city of Gondolin. And this is the beginning of Ulmo's journey for him.
This kind of sounds like an abduction.
It does kind of sound like an abduction.
Is, yeah.
He's like, I choose you.
Yeah. Sends a lot of water your way.
Yeah.
Well, deep in this dark cavern, he met some Nodoli who let him out, which was nice of them. And he found on the other side the river that continued into a great ravine. And he followed this ravine west for 3 days.
This is a Minnesota podcast, right? Trevor, you're from Iowa. I'm gonna quiz you about Minnesota.
Oh no.
Okay. A drop of water falls on Minnesota. There's 3 places it'll end up. It could end up. What are they? What are the 3 watersheds in Minnesota?
I don't know what the watersheds are called, but I imagine one of them ends up being the Mississippi.
Yeah, which is the Gulf of Mexico. Yep, correct.
Right.
That's one of the big ones. Yeah,
That's the only one I can actually think of.
There's a big old lake somewhere.
big old Lake Superior.
Oh, lakes count.
Remember how when we're going up, every stream ever goes into Lake Superior?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking rivers, but okay.
But the other one is actually Hudson Bay. The Red River of the North flows north into Hudson Bay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Minnesota, listen, guys.
Hope
more you
everybody
know.
learned with us. But anywho, one day, Tuor hears the call of a strange new creature. And this is the first time he'd ever heard the great gulls of the sea.
That's a weird noise. They do make a strange noise.
Yeah, if you think about it, of all the bird sounds, it is a pretty
It's
unique
one of the
and
weirder
weird
bird
one.
sounds.
Mhm.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
We've got an excerpt about this fun moment from the Book of Lost Tales, Part 2, Section 3, The Fall of Gondolin, read by Joel.
One day, after a great journey of weary-going, Tuor at deep evening heard a cry, and he might not decide of what creature it came. Now he said, It is a fey creature. Now, Nay, 'tis but some small beast that waileth among the rocks. Or again it seemed to him that an unknown bird piped with a voice new to his ears and strangely sad. And because he had not heard the voice of any bird in all his wandering down the golden cleft, he was glad of the sound, although it was mournful. On the next day, at an hour of the morning, he heard the same cry above his head, and looking up, beheld 3 great white birds beating back up the gully on strong wing, and uttering cries like to the ones he had heard amid the dusk. Now these were the gulls, the birds of Osse.
What do the seagulls say in fucking Finding Nemo? They're like, mine. Tuor looked. Yeah, we could just. He looked up into the sky and saw the beautiful gulls. Mine.
Just imagine the birds from Finding Nemo.
Yeah, from Finding Nemo.
Mine.
And these were swans in the other story, right?
No, they were birds. Swans came up later in the other story.
I see. So there's just multiple bird stuff going on here.
Yeah, birds significant in Tolkien, right? Yeah.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. I mean, for the longest time, I thought it was really just eagles, but you know, some of these other stories have really opened my eyes to the other.
Well, no, it's clearly an animal that Tolkien liked because, unlike cats, he didn't give them really the time of day, did he?
He made them evil.
Yeah, he
He's
really
like straight evil.
Yeah.
So after discovering these new birds, when Tuor found an area of the ravine where the walls were less sheer, he climbed up to the top so that he could get a better look at them and kind of get a lay of the land. But when he looked back down into the ravine, he witnessed something he did not understand. He saw the water level below drastically change, rising and becoming much more turbulent. He was essentially witnessing the rising of the tide for the first time, and it scared the shit out of him because he didn't understand what the hell this was. No men have ever been to the sea before, so no tides are a thing to them.
I'd be sitting there panicking, like, is it going to stop? Is the whole world going to drown? Like, what am I witnessing?
What is this? Whoa.
Yeah, I would be incredible. I mean, I've never really had a whole lot of time around the ocean. I've been to Lake Superior, which is like similar. It's an inland sea, right?
There's still tides.
And there's tides, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm familiar with the phenomenon, but that would be really weird to see for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially crashing like back up against a river. Like, that's pretty crazy.
Well, from there, Tuor wandered southward across the land until he finally reached the shore of the sea for the first time. So,
yeah,
another new one for him. And at this site, he became filled with a sea longing.
As are so many people in Tolkien.
Yes, a lot of cool characters have sea longing.
But Tuor is the first mortal man to have been filled with it.
Mm-hmm.
This afflicts the Numenorians quite
hard, yeah.
Quite hard in the second age. Yeah.
But yeah, being the first mortal man to reach the sea, yeah, he is filled with the sea longing. And near the shores, Tuor actually stops and makes a small shelter, and he stays there a while. This is something that's unique to this version of the story, this little hut that he makes. So he makes a little shelter, a little hut of driftwood, and in it he kind of decorates it with many fine wood carvings of all the animals he knew from where he was from, his favorite being the swan.
That's pretty cool. I suppose you know a limited amount of animals wherever you're from. I'm sure there's not like zoology books in Beleriand, you know.
So hold on. These are not things he just had with him. So he had to have carved all of these himself, right?
Right.
So he
was there a while.
He learned languages of the elves. He was good at harp. He's a great hunter. He can carve shit. This guy, man.
He's talented.
Yeah,
he's talented.
There's a reason he's a hero.
Yeah, he is the hero. One day toward the end of summer, Tuor saw 3 swans flying southward, his favorite bird, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is where I'm remembering the swans from.
Yeah, the white birds come up twice in his early journey, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he took them as a sign that he should follow, obviously, right?
As anyone would, right?
It's my birds.
Going south, he eventually came to a warmer and greener land.
So he came across the mouth of a great river delta full of reeds and sandy islands, and there were a multitude of seabirds that were staying there in the shallow waters, and this is where he lost those 3 swans. And we may know this river delta as the mouths of the river Sirion.
Yeah.
He made his way all the way down the coast to Sirion. Yeah, in this story, Vinyamar is not a thing.
They just totally
exist.
They don't have that version yet.
Nope,
yeah.
Not a thing.
That night, some Noldali, they find him and they guide him inland. When they come to this place called the Land of Willows, which sounds pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it could be a fun place or a terrifying place.
Yeah. It's also springtime, which would be fun. Willows in the spring are pretty.
It's supposed to be a serene place, so springtime would be like the most beautiful time to be there.
Yeah.
And it was so lovely that he stayed there a while.
Yeah.
Once again,
another
just
place
tarrying in this very beautiful place.
But this Ulmo guy, he becomes impatient, and so he goes to the place himself.
Yeah, we've got a cool excerpt about this scene from the Book of Lost Tales again, Section 3, The Fall of Gondolin, read by Danny.
Therefore Ulmo, loving all rivers, and this one more than most, went thence on foot, robed to the middle in mail like the scales of blue and silver fishes. But his hair was a bluish silver, and his beard to his feet was of the same hue. And he bore neither helm nor crown. Beneath his mail fell the skirts of his kirtle of shimmering greens, and of what substance these were woven is not known. But whoso looked into the depths of their subtle colors seemed to behold the faint movements of the deep waters, shot with the stealthy lights of the phosphorescent fish that live in the abyss. Girt was he with a rope of mighty pearls, and he was shod with mighty shoes of stone. Thither he bore too his great instrument of music, and this was of strange design, for it was made of many long twisted shells pierced with holes. Blowing therein and playing with his long fingers, he made deep melodies of magic greater than any other among musicians hath ever compassed on harp or lute, on lyre or pipe, or instruments of the bow.
Sounds enchanting.
Wow.
Sounds deep.
I really love this description of him. I feel like I've seen some like pictures online of people doing like the art for this type of description of Ulmo, and it's like
it's super cool.
It's really dope. Like the like scaled like fish scale armor and stuff, and like not knowing like it's even what substance like some of the fabric is supposed to be. Like gives it
makes
that,
me think
that
of
enchanted feeling, like you said.
The one that comes to my mind is the Naismith, the Ted Naismith version.
Yeah, that one's dope.
That's always what comes to my mind when I think of this description. It's really cool.
Yeah. It's super funny that this confirms some of Joe Vasky's wonderings if there were like deep sea abyss fish.
Oh yeah,
remember he asked him one of our drunken specials
if there were deep sea fish.
Yeah, he was trying to get us to talk about the deep sea of Middle Earth, and we were just too drunk to do it. But this, now that we know, we've
found evidence of deep sea life.
Yeah, there is phosphorescent fish in the abyss, like there are on Earth, right?
Well, so like we said, Ulmo, he came to the Land of Willows while playing his weird shell instrument, that cool thing.
Yeah.
And, it enamored Tuor. He was drawn to it because it was so cool.
Yeah, he likes music.
Yeah.
And he knows music too. So, like, he's probably inspired even.
Probably blown away what the hell this thing is. What is this weird instrument you're playing?
And then Ulmo spoke to Tuor. And again, Tuor was terrified.
A god is speaking to you.
Yeah, and he came near to death from dread, which is just terrible.
Almost shit his own soul out of his body.
Say goodbye to your Faya.
Yeah. Just
Faya well.
Yeah, Tuor nearly lost it. So Ulmo tells Tuor here that it's basically his destiny to find the hidden people of the Gondolin. And Ulmo says that Tuor's destiny is to deliver a message, and he says that once Tuor is there, he will put the words in Tuor's mouth. He's not going to tell him what they are and expect him to remember it. He's like, I'm just going to basically use you like a telephone once you get there.
Yeah, I love that.
Just ring me up, bro.
Yeah, it's just like, what's the message? Never you mind.
Don't you worry about it.
You'll know when the time comes.
God, I hate when people say that.
I hate that, yeah.
So Tuor sets out by heading northward along the river Sirion, and one night, some Noldali elves come to him again. This is like a reoccurring theme in this version of the tale, just random groups of Noldali elves appearing out of nowhere and
they
guiding
wander
him
around.
Places.
Yeah, apparently.
Seems like a cop-out.
Yeah, it kind of does, and I can kind of see why he strayed away from like this
in the later versions.
In the later versions,
yeah.
So after many days, these elves led him to a land of rolling green hills, but here these elves became very afraid because they knew that they were now in the land that is infested by Melkor's goblins.
Gross.
Not safe.
Yeah, they became so afraid that they just straight up fucked off and abandoned Tuor.
They abandoned him there.
But one of them, named Voronwe, was determined to finish their task. I was determined to do our job. And he led Tuor to Gondolin. What a nice guy.
Yeah, just a quick note. These Noldali elves, including Voronoi, in this version of the story, had never been to Gondolin before.
Oh, yeah, this is different. That's right.
Yeah, they are all technically escaped slaves of Morgoth. And so they all had heard rumors of Gondolin, but none of them have ever been there before. So they're pretty fucking terrified, wandering into enemy territory trying to do this.
I wonder if he used this escaped slave from Angband thing, dropped it in the Children of Húrin with Gwyndor.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe use that concept later on in a different story. Because it's cool. It's a cool thing to like run into a bunch of escaped slaves from Angband. That's fucking cool.
But I suppose you can't really have slaves escaping Angband all of the time. Otherwise, it's not that.
It doesn't seem very significant.
No.
Yeah.
So okay, we have Voronoi again.
Yes. Yep.
And I guess he's still technically chosen by Ulmo, right?
Yeah.
But all these elves are chosen by Ulmo.
Yeah.
But they're all ex-slaves.
Yeah. You got it.
Okay. Do we get it? Does it tell you in the story that Ulmo chose like them ahead of time, or does Tuor learn that on his own?
No, it's told in the story that they're basically sent by Ulmo or his messengers.
All right.
Of a sort.
Didn't know if they'd have like kind of like a proving thing, like in the other version where Tuor is like he knows information he probably otherwise wouldn't, and so that sort of serves as his proof to Voronoi that Ulmo chose him and everything.
Yeah, no, the later form of the tale is a little more developed, let's say.
Yeah, a little more. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an early version.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Sometimes they just develop in different directions.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. So after many days, I should say that after these elves leave, Voronoi is the only one that comes back. I think we mentioned that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So after many days of leading Tuor, they come across a deep dale in the hills, and this is where Voronoi finds an opening that is hidden by some thick bushes and some tangled undergrowth, and this is basically the secret entrance to the secret tunnel that leads them to Gondolin. So this led them down a long, dark tunnel that continued for a long time, and then when they came out the other side into the light, they were momentarily blinded by the brightness of day, but they found that they were actually now surrounded by elven guards.
Speaking of elves, and I'm sorry to just go back for a second, but
Yeah.
the elves, like those other ones, they just abandoned Tuor, like really. And like, I can see why that would be different in the main story because there aren't a lot of like tales of elves being cowardly.
They do flee in certain situations and stuff. Many of them are super brave and honorable, yeah. But there are,
I feel like, we just don't see
Turncoats.
those. We don't see those stories as often as is kind of what I'm saying. So it's kind of like, since this is supposed to be a more, I guess, a happier story. I'm happy to see that he changed that.
It's somewhat tragic. It's epic. It's not as tragic as like
it's not the Children of Húrin.
The Children of Húrin. No,
sure. Comparatively, it's much happier.
So they are now captured by a bunch of elven guards. They also notice here that they're at the foot of the surrounding mountains, which are now encircling a wide plain. And near the center of the plain was a large hill with a flat top, and on the top of that flat hill was a great walled city. And the elven guards informed them that they have found the City of Seven Names. And this is when Tuor asks them, what are those seven names?
Can you please list them?
That's what I'd be thinking.
So they do. The elves list those names. So let's give off all 7 of those names.
Do it. Let's do it.
So we've got Gondabar, which is City of Stone.
Gondoth Limbar, which is the city of the dwellers in stone.
We've got Gwaristrin, the Tower of Guard.
There you go. And then we got Garthurian, the secret place.
We also have Loth, which is flower.
Simple there.
We've got Lothengriel, which is the flower that blooms on the plain.
And of course, everyone's favorite, Gondolin. And that actually means the Stone of Song. Super cool.
Pick a favorite.
Ooh, pick a favorite that's not Gondolin, you mean?
Yes, that's not Gondolin.
Okay, Garthurian.
I like Gondabar.
It almost sounds like Gundabad.
It does kind of sound like
a little
Gondabar,
bit, yeah.
doesn't it?
Gondabar. Personally, I just like Loth. I like very simple.
The flower.
Yeah.
The simple flower.
The flower.
And I like to think if this was Loth, then that's like Lothlorien is like the later.
Right, Lothlorien, I think, means forest of flowers, I think.
Right, because it would appear that Loth just means flower, right?
Yeah.
So,
So after about a day's walk across this wide open plain, they finally come to the foot of the Hill of Watch. And then they start heading up, and they go up some winding stairs that were kind of cut into the side of the hill until they finally get to the city's gate. We got an excerpt here about I should say, the both of them coming to Gondolin here for the first time. It's from that same Book of Lost Tales, Part 2, Section 3, The Fall of Gondolin, read by Trevor.
Then did they begin to ascend the winding stairways which climbed up to the city gate. Nor might anyone reach that city save on foot and espied from the walls. As the westward gate was golden in the last sunlight, did they come to the long stairs' head, and many eyes gazed upon them from the battlements and towers. But Tuor looked upon the walls of stone, and the uplifted towers, upon the glistening pinnacles of the town, and he looked upon the stairs of stone and marble, bordered by slender balustrades, and cooled by the leap of thread-like waterfalls seeking the plain from the fountains of Amenguareth. And he fared as one in some dream of the gods, for he deemed not such things were seen by men in the visions of their sleep. So great was his amaze at the glory of Gondolin. It's like he couldn't believe it. Like, it's just like magic to him right there.
Yeah, straight up magic.
So when the gates open and the two are welcomed, they are welcomed by a huge crowd of people.
Yeah, straight up. Just a literal flash mob of people.
Yeah, the Gondolin are thrilled that another one of the Noldali has escaped the enslavement of Melko and has found their way to safety and can now join them in their beautiful city.
You know, I don't know that I want to keep making the comparisons back, but I think I have to because it's kind of interesting. It's like when they first get there in the canon story, it's more like, you know, Varanwe, how dare you? Like, how dare you bring this person who's not supposed to know where we are to us? Like,
they're not happy.
They're kind of taken as prisoners.
It's
initially.
much more serious,
and it's like a night and day comparison.
It's a whole different tone.
You got away from Eggman, yeah.
It's way more jolly fairy tale-esque, sort of, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, much more warm welcome here in the early version. Yeah, another funny thing that I love is that they marvel at the size of Tuor, because Tuor is supposed to be the tallest of the Adain of the First Age. So he's
particularly tall.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
In general, I believe elves are taller than men. So when they see that Tuor is taller than most of the elves, that is like super unusual.
Pretty big
for men of that time.
Big boy.
So he's a big boy. He's a
Tuor the troll
boy.
Yeah,
he's so big.
Big beefcake boy.
A big beefcake boy.
The beautiful boy.
Well, so Tuor, he requested to be brought to the king so he could deliver the message from Ulmo. A message that he, of course, still didn't know because Ulmo didn't tell him. And so the Nadoli brought Tuor in and guided him through the city to the palace of the king.
I love the idea that Tuor is just like,
I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but I got a message.
I got a message. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be the best message you've ever heard. I swear, trust me, it's the biggest message.
But concepts of the message,
the concepts
up here
are mind blowing. Okay, well, we got an excerpt here. This is from the Book of Lost Tales, Part 2, Section 3, The Fall of Gondolin. Check that out, guys. It's gonna be read by Joel. This one.
Now the streets of Gondolin were paved with stone and wide, curbed with marble, and fair houses and courts amid gardens of bright flowers were set about the ways, and many towers of great slenderness and beauty, builded of white marble and carved most marvelously, rose to the heaven. Squares were lit with fountains, and the homes of birds that sang amid the branches of their aged trees. But of all these the greatest was that place where stood the king's palace, and the tower thereof was the loftiest in the city, and the fountains that played before the door shot 20 fathoms and 7 in the air, and fell in a singing rain of crystal. Therein did the sun glitter splendidly by day, and the moon most magically shimmered by night. The birds that dwelt there were of the whiteness of snow, and their voices sweeter than a lullaby of music. On either side of the doors of the palace were 2 trees, one that bore blossom of gold, and the other of silver. Nor did they ever fade, for they were shoots of old from the glorious trees of Valinor that lit those places before Melko and Gloomweaver withered them. And those trees the Gondolin named Glingol and Bansil.
That's really cool. So they're like they're descendants of the great trees.
Yeah, in this early version, they straight up have like descendants of the 2 great trees.
Do you think Tolkien...
Yavanna would be thrilled.
Yeah. Do you think Tolkien later took this and brought it to the Numenor? Because remember, Nimloth or whatever is a descendant of Telperion, right? I think Telperion?
I believe so, right?
So yeah, maybe he took this early concept here, gave it over to the Numenorians. Maybe. I don't know. That's
You see a lot of that recycling of similar types of concepts.
Well, because like as a writer, when you come up with something cool and it doesn't fit where you want it, it fucking sucks. Because you're just like, what do I just throw this away?
But later you're like, it didn't quite fit right here. I wanted to do it a slightly different way.
And you'll find somewhere to you've seen how we do, like we'll build sketches off of stupid jokes that we made. We'll find a way to get there.
I also love that in this excerpt that they refer to Ungoliant as Gloomweaver.
I love that title.
The first time I heard that, I think, was when we did the Tolkien Mysteries episode.
Yeah,
and
I specifically picked that word because I used the term Gloomweaver to describe Ungoliant in the dramatic bit. Yeah.
It's a dope name for a villain. Like, good job, Tolkien. I really like that one.
Fucking cool.
It's one of those solid metal names.
Yeah, it is pretty metal.
Is there a metal band named Gloomweaver? Should we look it up? Remember we did that one time we paused the recording and looked it up. Yup, it's a Hiralorn is a fucking metal band. Oh man, Joel's looking it up. I'm gonna keep talking. King Turgon was standing before the doors of his palace.
Yes, Gloomweaver is a band. Yes,
it is. Where are they from? Are they from Scandinavia?
How far down the stereotype rabbit hole can we go?
All right, we had to pause it, guys, because we needed to learn a little bit more about this metal band. Trev's got a little info.
Yeah, I mean, confirmed it is a type of metal, right? We found that specifically the internet is telling me that they're progressive deathcore from Southampton and Brighton in England.
Perfect.
Oh, cool.
And
English people.
The internet also has them being self-described as misery-infused deathcore from South Coast of UK.
Cool. Yeah, love that.
Once again, just another hardcore metal band, right?
We should literally do...
I mean, it's deathcore. Deathcore is pretty heavy.
We should do... Oh my god, this is an amazing idea. We should literally do a game show. Is it death metal or is it a metal band? Just pick a random title from Tolkien.
All Tolkien names and be like, is it a metal band?
Yeah, because there's literally enough of them where you could do that. Like everything, every epic name has a metal band named.
You could even throw in some screwballs and screwballs, but it's just be like... This is actually both a metal band and a Tolkien name.
Yeah, there be a ton of those.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
All right, we got a little sidetracked with the metal.
As always.
So King Turgon, right? So Tuor is there, and he's in front of the palace of the king to give his message. So King Turgon was standing before the doors of the palace, and he welcomed Tuor with open arms.
Yeah. Tuor, he warns that that their time of peace is coming to an end, and that a time of war against Melko was nigh. He's like, yeah, you guys, too long have you lied in wait.
Yeah, this is Ulmo's message that he didn't know he was supposed to deliver. So.
Yeah, which he farted out.
Which he just kind of burped out, yeah. So, however, unfortunately, the king said that he refuses to send any of his people to war with Melko. And Tuor warns that if they do not act now, then Melko's goblins will inhabit all of the mountains of the world, and men and elves will never live in peace ever again.
And wouldn't you know it, Turgon still says no.
Yes.
So, yeah,
no war.
He loves his city, man. He doesn't,
He does, and his people.
Yeah, he doesn't want to
send them to war.
Yeah.
But war is coming. It's on your door. What does he say? War is on your doorstep, whether you
open war is on your doorstep, whether you risk it or not. Yeah, that's the line from the film, from the Lord of the Rings film.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
So Tuor says that if they will not act, then Ulmo says that they should continue sending mariners down the river Sirion to the sea to attempt to sail westward to Valinor to request the aid of the Valar. But Turgon responds saying that he's been doing this every spring for years and years now, and they never return. So Turgon says he's done losing good elves to this pointless errand, because clearly nothing's coming of it. And I honestly don't blame him for feeling that way.
That'd be funny.
I'd feel the same way, too, if I'm just losing good men, secretly sending them down every year, and they always just disappear. Clearly, they're all dying out on the sea.
Yeah, I imagine just there's a sinkhole in the earth, and you're just like, I wonder if we should send somebody in there. And then you just push somebody in there, they get sucked up, and then
should we do it again?
Should we send somebody in after them? I suppose we should.
You know what? Personally, I think this is actually a different direction, because you'd think Ulmo would know better, right? Like, if you're sending people over to Valinor, you think he would, like, you know, at least know if that was going to be fruitless or not. So if he's telling them, take that action, maybe these elves aren't coming back because they're making it to Valinor and they're not allowed to leave. You know, like, maybe they get there and they're like, oh, shit,
I'm just going to
stay here.
Some action would also come of that, but yeah, I suppose they don't ultimately know.
I always assumed that they were fucking doomed.
I think that's the implication.
I was trying to be hopeful.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to be optimistic. Maybe they lived.
But yeah, so again, Turgon says he's done losing good elves on this pointless errand, and he actually says that he believes the Valar doesn't care.
Ooh, a little bit of blasphemy.
Which, it's sort of true.
It does, well...
They do just let things go until somebody comes over to beg them. Like, they know they could, but...
They're being withholding. You know?
They are, they sort of don't.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Yeah, that was, I guess, end of conversation.
End of conversation. But
that's how it is when you're talking to kings and shit. It's like they just say no to your face, and then you're like,
well,
all right, your highness.
All right.
So can I live here in Gondolin?
Yeah, so this is of course, that is a concept that repeats. Tuor can't leave, so he ends up living there.
Yeah.
So now Tuor is living in probably the most blissful place you can live outside of Valinor. It's pretty great.
Oh, yeah.
And like we mentioned before, he was largely welcomed by the Gondolin, and it was a pretty good experience for him. While living there, Tuor learned many skills and many lores from the elves. We got another excerpt here about this from Book of Lost Tales Part 2, read by Danny.
There learnt Tuor of building with stone, of masonry and the hewing of rock and marble, crafts of weaving and spinning, broidery and painting, did he fathom, and cunning in metals. Music most delicate he there heard, and in these were they who dwelt in the southern city the most deeply skilled. For there played a profusion of murmuring founts and springs. Many of these subtleties Tuor mastered and learned to entwine with his songs to the wonder and heart's joy of all who heard. Strange stories of the sun and moon and stars, of the manner of the earth and its elements, and of the depths of heaven were told to him. The secret characters of the elves he learnt, in their speeches and old tongues, and heard tell of Iluvatar, the Lord for always who dwelleth beyond the world, of the great music of the Ainur about Iluvatar's feet in the utmost depths of time, whence came the making of the world and the manner of it, and all therein and their governance.
Well, no, we're just going to skip past talking about Iluvatar's feet.
Did I miss that?
No. I just think it's really funny.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we're just going to, it's like, we're not going to do the foot fetish joke. Drummer's like, I feel like there's a foot fetish joke we could make here.
There's got to be one somewhere.
One thing that I love about this version of the tale, and that I think one of the reasons other people should read this version of the tale, is because this is the only place where we get like extensive information about Gondolin.
Yeah.
Like the city itself. This is the only version where we get extensive information about the city of Gondolin, the happenings within, and the actual battle, and like a lot of details about Gondolin. And all the other versions, it's more or less talking about him getting there, mentioning that he's there, and then kind of that it falls. Like, they don't really get into much detail.
It's funny, if you had read this first, and then the version that's in the Silmarillion, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? Like,
where did all
like,
the,
how did
where
you
did all the
whittle away?
information
Yeah, like,
go?
where did all the information... You whittled away so much of this story. It's crazy.
When he's there for, like, years, right? Like 7 or something like that?
He's there for quite some time. So
how do you gloss over all of that?
Should be excited, because anyone who wanted to like really know about Gondolin and the fall of Gondolin, this is the version of the tale you want to read.
Yeah. So Tuor, he also he becomes like a son to the king, and he becomes beloved among the elves.
He became the head of his own royal house, the House of the Wing. Because, you know, he's got a thing with the birds, as we know already. He also got a very nice elven axe that he named Dramborleg.
Dramborleg is one of those things that I fantasize about all the time. Like, how cool this weapon must have been.
It must have been so cool. I got a battle-ready battle axe from the Renfest one year, like straight up.
Yes, you did. It
steel,
was so
like
freaking
you have
cool.
to make sure you keep it polished with some kind of oil or a cheesecloth, or else it'll rust, because it's like really solid. And I named it Dramborleg because I was like, that's such a cool fucking axe. I can only imagine what a Noldorin elf battle axe would be like. I wonder if it glows like some of their other blades do. Like, that'd be so cool. That'd be so cool.
Do you remember what giant boar leg means? The etymology?
Oh, no. I should, but I don't.
Yeah, it means thunder sharp.
Thunder sharp?
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that
so
cool?
fucking cool.
Freaking cool.
Well, and also, like, imagine, like, Tuor is bigger than most elves.
He must
even,
be so
right?
it must be massive.
It must be real big.
That's got to be so
and we
cool.
we get into maybe what this weapon gets up to later on. Maybe
we might get around to it. You know,
eventually, maybe, or we'll just leave it out, and you'll just have to fantasize about it for the rest of your life. You know?
Oh, we'll talk about the battle.
Yeah.
So during this time, anyway, of Tuor living blissfully in Gondolin, he also falls in love with the king's own daughter, the Princess Idril.
Yeah, Celebrindal, yeah. Fucking cool.
Turgon even grants their marriage.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing.
Pretty wild.
That's another first for men, marrying an elf.
Yes. Mm-hmm. However, there was somebody else living in Gondolin who took issue with this relationship. This character is a character that doesn't change much over the different versions of the tale.
No, it's funny that he stays pretty much the same. His motives, too.
His motives are the same.
His name kind of rhymes with Gaglin?
That's, of course.
Okay, so we're talking about Maglin here.
Maglin, of course.
So Maglin is the king's nephew, a.k.a. Princess Idril's cousin, and yet he has some kind of gross incestual feelings for his cousin.
Yeah, and we've often referred to him as one of the few but handful of cousin fuckers in the Legendarium.
Yes, we have.
And we did a whole ass episode about Maglin in a few seasons ago. The assholes throughout the ages
yes,
thing.
Because he is indeed an asshole.
We crowned him the biggest asshole of the first age.
Yes, deservedly.
And I mean,
deservedly.
That's more than that's more than like Mim. That's more than like Ulfang.
Yeah,
right. Like there's a lot of horrible assholes.
A lot of bad guys.
Yeah, and he took the cake.
Yeah, so Maglin, this asshole, so he was head of the House of the Mole and chief of the miners of the city, and he was known for being less fair than some of the other elves in Gondolin.
To be known by that.
To be known to be ugly.
Yeah, well, in this version of the tale, there were apparently rumors that he had orc's blood in his veins.
Whoa, that's fucked up.
Wait, that's...
Yeah, it's a little bit different here, yeah.
Whoa.
But like, who...
How?
Who? How? I
had
so many
exactly.
questions.
Yeah,
so what the hell was Ael up to?
Right, this parentage must be a little bit different here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so again, he too has feelings for his cousin Idril, which brings him to very much disliking Tuor, because he wants to marry Idril instead of Tuor. But the king had turned down Maglin's previous request because the king perceived that Maglin wanted power. And because it was obviously gross. Cousins are a little too close for that kind of thing.
I thought of a fun new parody song we could do. Tuor's Girl, like Jesse's Girl.
Tuor's Girl. Tuor's Girl.
Where can I find my cousin like that? Yeah.
Okay.
So stupid.
Oh, God.
I have a real question.
Yeah, what's your question, bud?
Yeah.
So, are they aware of, with the whole elfin man thing, the mortality?
I don't know that comes up explicitly here in this version of the tale. I think that's a concept that kind of gets developed and fleshed out later in Tolkien's life.
Okay.
Well, and that's even like I think some people still even debate it because, remember, J.R.R. Do we ever find out?
Yeah, there are some characters where it's kind of ambiguous.
It's kind of ambiguous because it's before the choice of which later on the choice we know. But so J.R.R. was slain. We don't know if he would have lived to be immortal or not.
Yeah. So at this point, the answer is unknown because it's undeveloped at this time.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows.
And even when it's developed at best, it's still shady. It's still murky.
Exactly, yeah.
And so we also don't know if Eärendil has immortality or not.
Well,
based on this. Well, I mean, because if it's not even developed yet, he's half.
Oh, at this juncture.
He's at this time.
He's
Exactly.
half
Same story, yeah.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, so jumping back into the story here. So, at this point in time, word comes to Melkor that a man had been seen wandering around through the Vales of Sirion. This was obviously Tuor. So Melkor sent out spies to the region to try to find this strange man and potentially, maybe see if it'll lead him to Gondolin somehow. And after years of searching and torturing some elderly elves, Melkor's spies were able to find the secret tunnel entrance to Gondolin, but they could not enter due to the magic spells that were protecting it. So they instead scaled the mountains around it and finally saw the city from afar.
Oh, that's interesting.
So in this version, they scout the city before they eventually take it.
I think they scout the city in all versions.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like not nearly as hidden in this version.
True,
seems.
Yeah. The hiding is much less elaborate in this early version.
And there's just magic protecting the entrance.
There's no 7 gates.
Exactly, yeah. There's just some a magic tunnel that gets you in and out. That's about it.
Cool.
So they saw the city from afar, and they were, however, unable to make their way to the city due to the vigilance of the elven guard. The elves wouldn't allow so much as a slithery little snake to crawl across that grassy plain without their archers shooting it down. So they knew that there was no shot of them trying to run down the mountains and run across the plain over to the city because they get taken out.
Right.
I wonder if they tried though. How many orcs did they sacrifice till they learned it was fruitless?
There's a big pit of dead orcs.
Yeah,
skeletons.
They also didn't want to give away their surprise.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Well, if they ever, it's like after 100 dead ones there. Well, I suppose if they ever come at us, they'll be coming from that direction.
So then word reached the king, King Turgon, that spies of Melko had been seen all around the encircling mountains.
They're just spying on each other.
And this is when Turgon knew that the jig was up, that they would soon be found, and if they hadn't already.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had the city prepare for war. And the king still had faith in the defenses of his city. He still wasn't willing to abandon it. But Tuor and Idril, they had a bad feeling.
Yeah, Idril more specifically, women are smarter, right?
That's usually the case.
But yeah, she had a bad feeling, especially about Maeglin, right? They have a feeling that they might need to get out of the city fucking fast.
Yes.
So what do? They build a tunnel.
Yeah, secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel. Yeah, I love that they build a tunnel. And,
so cool.
It was not just Idril this time, right? Because in the canon one, she's the one who commissions and makes the whole thing happen.
Mm-hmm.
But now Tuor is involved. So this secret tunnel would be their escape from the city. They only hired elves that they knew they could trust.
Yeah.
And they had to make sure that none of the usual miners of Maeglin's House of the Mole were told about this.
Keep a tight lid on it.
Mm-hmm.
But not long after Tuor and Idril began construction of their tunnel, Maeglin, of course, happened to be out in the mountains searching for new sources of ore, and he was alone, like an idiot.
And
he gets captured by Melko's orcs.
What if he just couldn't get anybody to go with him?
Nobody wanted to go with him.
Like, hey guys, I got some booze. You want to come over to my place this Saturday night? They'll be so you can come out to my basement. My parents aren't home.
We got some plans.
Yeah, no, dude, I quit drinking. Yeah.
What if he went out alone because he knew he looked kind of orcish, and so he was hoping to party with the orcs?
Yeah.
Hoping to hang out.
They hope that they think he's one of them.
I'll pass as one of them. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so he's captured by those orcs. Typically they would probably kill any of the free Nadoli that they found.
Right, but Maeglin, he decides instead of letting these orcs kill him, he was going to try to save his skin by selling out Gondolin. Yeah, he was going to, try to be smart about it. Now, we've got an excerpt here about this scene, again from the Book of Lost Tales Part 2, read by Trevor.
Now, it so chanced that Maeglin went to the hills for the getting of ore, and straying in the mountains alone was taken by some of the orcs prowling there, and they would do him evil and terrible hurt, knowing him to be a man of the Gondolin. But evil came into the heart of Maeglin, and he said to his captors, "Know that I am Maeglin, son of Isfin, sister of Turgon, king of the Gondolin." But they said, "What is that to us?" And Maeglin answered, "Much is that to you, for if you slay me, ye will lose great tidings concerning the city of Gondolin that your master would rejoice to hear. Think ye not that ye would rather pleasure your master if ye bore to his feet so noble a captive, that he might hear my tidings of himself and judge of their verity?" Now this seemed good to the orcs, and they returned from the mountains about Gondolin to the hills of iron and the dark halls of Melko. Thither they hailed Maeglin with them, and now he was in a sore dread. But when he knelt before the black throne of Melko in terror of the grimness of the shapes about him, of the wolves that sat beneath that chair, and of the adders that twinned about his legs, Melko bade him speak.
Oh, spooky.
Ooh.
So when Maglin was finally brought before Melko, he was much too terrified to resist, and together they ended up devising a plan to overtake Gondolin.
Ooh, just as a fun thing. So, in the excerpt I just read, in case anybody noticed, I did call him Meglin.
Yes, I was gonna point that out because that is his name.
We'll probably still call him Meglin, but
Versus Meglin.
Yeah, Meglin sounds even worse.
Meglin,
personally.
Meglin, M-E, is actually his name in this version of the tale. In the canon version, they changed it to an A, Maglin. So forgive us for mispronouncing the Mag for the Meg.
The Meg is a pretty good shark movie. You seen it? No, I just want to point out Trevor's Meglin voice. He's such an ass eater.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's such a sniveling little shit. I love it.
Well, in exchange for Meglin's assistance, Melko promised him some stuff. One of those things was the death of Tuor and Eärendil,
Yeah. Kill your rival and his son.
Yeah. Possession of Idril. God, possession.
I know, it just sounds so gross.
And a large army of orcs, because what does any elf want but not a large
You'll command
army of orcs?
my orcs. Meglin, he provided logistical knowledge of the city and its defenses. Like, he really fully betrayed everybody.
He really did. He even advised Melko to have smiths to create giant beasts like snakes and like dragons, but these would be made of metal, and they would be made so that they could creep and crawl over the land, and specifically over the encircling mountains.
Oh, we've talked about these before.
Yeah.
I remember these.
Yeah.
And potentially even crawl over the walls of the city. And they were to spit fire or alternatively be engulfed with fire and just kind of burn everything around them.
Hell yeah.
And these are the crazy metal dragons that we've talked about before. They're inanimate. They're supposed to be... This was Tolkien's, basically his inspiration after seeing tanks. We've talked about
at the Battle of Somme,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is orc technology.
Yeah, orc tank.
Melko tech.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I guess it's Maglin. Maglin provided a lot of the logistics for this
that's
stuff.
what really sucks. He used like all the he no doubt used some of the knowledge and expertise that he gained in Gondolin to like bring about its end.
Yeah, he directly
It's
advised
shitty.
the smiths on how to create these things. So really, these in this version of the tale, these are Maglin's making. This despicable little shit.
It's Meglin's misfits.
This asshole.
What a butthole.
So then, after devising these evil plans and in these terrible tank-like things, Melko threatens Meglin with the torment of the Balrogs if he ever betrays him in their plans. And Melko also wove a spell of dread around Meglin so that he never felt peace or quiet in his heart ever again.
Bet you
Jesus
that part
Christ.
wasn't part of the deal.
Yeah, it wasn't part of the deal.
But it just always kept him on edge, though.
I know that. It's just anxiety, you know what I mean?
Crippling
Yeah,
anxiety.
he just gave him crippling anxiety. Oh, that sucks. What a terrible thing to give somebody.
Really. But then he went ahead and Melko sent Meglin back to Gondolin so that nobody would suspect anything. And as it would turn out, after Meglin returned to Gondolin, he never again left to go quarrying in the hills, and this was out of absolute dread that he might be captured and brought back to Angband.
So in this early version of the tale, I'm just remembering I think in the Silmarillion version, he is
He's more happy about it.
well, no, he's also going against Turgon's orders to go by himself.
Oh, yeah, there's the
So this one doesn't really say that, does it?
I don't know if it goes into as much.
It doesn't
detail
really
about
go
that,
into
no.
detail about that. Yeah, because in the canon version, right? It's like specifically that kind of answers the question that why was he by himself, right? Because he's sneaking around.
It might
slithering.
still be.
So it might still be.
Oh well, yeah, no, because Tuor was not allowed to leave.
Oh, that's right.
Because
Yeah, he
no one
did.
is allowed
Yeah,
to
this
leave.
is
So
after the
he
lockdown.
was still
Yeah.
breaking the rules of the
Yeah,
king.
so that's why he was alone. Yeah, he's not that big of a loser. I mean, though, when you commit crimes, you should always have homies with you, right?
I guess. Well, you mean like backup?
Yeah, backup or just co-conspirators.
Someone else to incriminate. And
Yeah,
take the fall.
exactly. A bagman, they call it. Take the fall.
So, okay, hold on. But in both versions of this story, Meglin is taken by orcs.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. But in the canon version, at least, there's supposed to be eagles in the region.
True.
So I kind of find that interesting. Like, did the Eagles also hate Maglin? They just let him get captured by orcs?
I imagine he's deep in the mountains, where the Eagles can't scry him. You know what I mean? I'm assuming because he's looking for ore, so I assume he's deep in.
He's not in the mountain peaks. He's down at the mountain
in
roots.
the crevasses of the mountains.
I guess I would have to know the actual area that the Eagles are covering.
Right.
But it seems like a pretty big.
That is another.
Area,
that is another. No, you're right. That is kind of a hole in all versions of the story that Maglin would wander stray into the mountains and the Eagles wouldn't
not
see
spot him. Yeah.
If nothing, that just proves how stupid he is for going so far.
This is true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So after this whole kidnapping incident and planning of the fall of Gondolin, there were fewer spies of Angband surrounding the mountains there. And this put Turgon at some ease. The king,
Nice.
Their spies noticed the lack of Melkor's spies, and they were like, oh, okay, maybe things are getting better.
Yeah, might just reinforce his thoughts of opposing Ulmo's desires.
Right.
I'd like to see Spy versus Spy Middle Earth edition. Wouldn't that be fun? Remember Spy versus Spy and the Mad?
No.
Oh, from Mad Magazine.
I remember.
You know
what
what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, please don't be the only person here that knows.
Yeah,
what
there was
that
like the white spy and the black spy, right?
Yeah,
they were and they were monochrome, and it was like.
I think they were like mocking the Cold War. I think is like what the whole thing was with the Spy versus Spy bullshit. Like,
you probably. I never thought about it.
Yeah, because that's when it was popular. Yeah, I grew up assuming they were mocking the Cold War because we grew up at the end of the Cold War, right?
Yeah. I kind of just thought it was like goofy cartoons because that's what we had at the time, like a lot of weird goofy cartoons. So it just made sense.
Wouldn't that be fun? Middle Earth edition, Spy versus Spy, fun.
Well, as it turns out, the reason for this lull in Melko's spies was actually because Melko had called back to Angband as many of his slaves that he could to work the mines and the smiths as hard as they could.
Gearing up. Industrializing.
Yeah, he was literally funneling all of his labor forces and resources into preparing to destroy.
Yeah, and this calm before the storm that so easily put Turgon's mind at ease lasted for 7 years.
7 years, yes. So you were right. You were pulling the 7 years.
Yeah,
correctly. You're pulling that. Yeah,
that's a long time. I mean, I guess elves probably don't think that's a long time, but that's a pretty long time for stuff to just still stay peaceful after what is basically an omen coming from
right
Ulmo.
After you found out that you've been found. Basically, you found out you've been found out, and then you just let things sit for 7 years.
That's like almost. I think that's longer than the last alliance prepared for. Like they took a long ass time to prepare too.
Yeah, so and in that 7 years, Melko spent all that time building up his armies, making those big metal dragons that we just talked about.
Yeah, we got a sick excerpt about all that from the Book of Lost Tales Part 2, Section 3, The Fall of Gondolin. Make sure you check that out at your local library.
Then on a time Melko assembled all his most cunning smiths and sorcerers, and of iron and flame they wrought a host of monsters, such as have only at that time been seen, and shall not again be till the great end. Some were all of iron so cunningly linked that they might flow like slow rivers of metal, or coil themselves around and above all obstacles before them, and these were filled, in their innermost depths, with the grimmest of orcs, with scimitars and spears. Others of bronze and copper were given hearts and spirits of blazing fire, and they blasted all that stood before them with the terror of their snorting, or trampled whatsoever escaped the ardor of their breath. Yet others were creatures of pure flame that writhed like ropes of molten metal, and they brought ruin to whatever fabric they came nigh. And iron and stone melted before them and became as water, and upon them rode the Balrogs in hundreds, and these were the most dire of all those monsters which Melko devised against Gondolin.
I love that we're actually getting, even though it's all evil, like sorcerers and magic.
Yeah,
and
super cool.
And like that variety of creature or just warfare or whatever. Like, a lot of people I would say like are introduced to all of this with like Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. And there's not like a ton of magic going on
not
there.
A high magic.
It's true,
yeah.
And so like creatures of pure flame, awesome. Really cool.
Very cool.
Sucks that it's all on the bad guy's side. Like we don't ever see any good guys version of that, but still metal as fuck.
Yeah, the only time I suppose we would ever see that is a time when there's little to no description of it, the War of Wrath.
Yes.
Right? Like that. Yep. That was when with the good guys unleashed all hell, right? So that would be a fun time to see. But they don't really describe all that much in Tolkien.
So then, In First Stage 510, Melko withdrew all of his spies, every single one of them. And the Gondolin, they thought that this meant Melko had given up looking for them, which seems like a weird thought to have considering you're spying on each other, but okay.
Since they know they've been found, but all right.
Sure, yeah. So King Turgon, he lessened the guard down to a skeleton crew, thinking everything's fine. But, Idril, she felt great dread. Shit's bad. So she instructed that the construction of her secret escape tunnel, it needs to be sped up.
Yeah, they need to really double time that project.
Yeah, after 7 years, it's still not done. That's got to be a long tunnel.
Yeah.
What's that line they say about building the Star Wars, the Death Star? We'll double our efforts.
Yeah, we'll double our efforts. Yeah. Yeah, because the Emperor's coming to visit, right?
The Emperor's coming, that's what it is.
That's why, yeah. We'll double our efforts.
Well, during this time that they're speeding up, Megalyn, he learns about the secret tunnel project through some of his spies.
Oh, I bet they had to hire extra workers that weren't so trusted.
Could be, yeah.
They had to speed things up.
Yeah, to speed things up, I bet.
And, or it even is just that, maybe some of the workers they had were maybe being a little too chatty.
Or maybe they're just a little overworked and
disgruntled,
drinking late at night and complaining and
yeah, they're just talking about unionizing over there.
Well, once Megalyn learned of this, he began making his own counter plan in response to this information about the secret tunnel. But in the winter of that year, it was particularly cold, and there was more snow than normal. But when spring came and the snow melted, the melting snow all ran down and watered the plain below, and the land became very green and beautiful and full of flowers. And this was a promising sign for a good summer and a good harvest after that. Spirits were very high in Gondolin. It seemed great.
Yeah, all the spies are gone.
Yeah.
Like, the plains are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what could
We've been in
get
peace
better?
for 7 years now.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Ulmo, you were wrong.
Oh, God. Never blaspheme. Don't do that.
No.
The night before the first day of summer was known as the Great Feast of Tarnin Austa, which is the gates of summer, right?
Oh, that's where our gates went.
Yeah. We lost our gates in this version, but it's back now. For centuries, the Gondolin, I have such a hard time with that word, Gondolin, they celebrated this great holiday. It's like a long-standing tradition for them.
Yeah, they'd get all dressed up, and they'd stay up all night waiting for the sunrise because it's going to be beautiful. And, they'd spend the night in silence, like literally no speaking until sunrise, and then they would all sing.
It's fucking cool.
And, of course, this year began no different. As the sun set in the west, the people of Gondolin began to gather and prepare for sunrise in the east. So they're all getting up on the walls of the city and looking out. But after the sun had set, the people of Gondolin noticed a new light off to the north. And we have a excerpt here for this scene, again from the Book of Lost Tales Part 2, read by Danny.
The sun has sunk beyond the hills, and folk array them for the festival very gladly and eagerly. Glancing in expectation to the east, lo, even when she had gone and all was dark, a new light suddenly began, and a glow there was. But it was beyond the northward heights, and men marveled, and there was a thronging of the walls and battlements. Then wonder grew to doubt, as the light waxed and became yet redder, and doubt to dread, as men saw the snow upon the mountains dyed as it were with blood. And thus it was that the fire serpents of Melko came upon Gondolin. Then came over the plain riders who bore breathless tidings from those who kept vigil on the peaks, and they told the fiery hosts and the shapes like dragons, and said, Melko is upon us. Great was the fear and anguish within that beauteous city, and the streets and byways were filled with the weeping of women and the wailing of children, and the squares with the mustering of soldiers and the ring of arms.
Crazy.
Yeah. Sounds like a not fun scene.
Yeah, imagine
really
expecting to see the sunrise, but instead you see the red of an oncoming army.
Yeah, it's kind of like that scene in Red Dawn when all the paratroopers land and then they just start shooting adults. We should check out Red Dawn.
I know about it. I just haven't seen it.
Oh, you've never seen Red Dawn?
No, I've never seen Red Dawn. I know it's a classic.
It's one of those movies that like somebody describes you and you're like, oh, that sounds like a fun romp, and you're like, no, it's not fun. It's like a stark war tale. It's not
really. It
it's
sounds
not
like
fun. It's not
like
fun.
A schlocky 80s.
Yeah, it sounds like that, doesn't it? It's not. It is very much not that, which is why I love it, because everyone thinks that it is that, and it's not that, and I love it.
You know, well, the more that I think about this, like why this like particular battle isn't canon, it seems like Melkor had technology way above his means than typically would be, which would make like the future battles like having to be, I don't know, more intense or upstage this one because time goes on, and so like since we don't see that happen. It makes sense that this is gone. Plus, like with the hundreds of Balrogs, I know that was like written out as a thing too.
Yeah, we talk about that in our Balrogs episode. Yeah,
so I get like why this part isn't canon. It's cool that we get to see like where it all came from and what the original plan was. But yeah, I can't imagine any of the battles that came after this going well for anybody. If it was like
if this kind of technology were around.
Yeah. Well, it does it does somewhat stand to reason because that kind of technological progression kind of goes backwards in Tolkien, at least with magic.
That's what it seems to, yeah.
Yeah, because like in the first stage, everything is super magical. People understand.
Super great.
Yeah, everything is super great. And then because that kind of goes with Tolkien's, everything gets shittier over time. Right? So like the amount of magic in the world just kind of slowly dissipates. Which is originally, I think Tolkien didn't he want Middle Earth to be the tale of our time? Like, yeah. Like we're the 10th age of Middle Earth or whatever the fuck. So like he was trying to explain like why there used to be elves and now there's not. So like it just kind of stands to reason that way. Yeah. But normally you're right. Technology progresses from one in a linear fashion, right? Like as time goes on.
Yeah.
Usually.
At this rate, I feel like Sauron would have had the bomb by the third age.
Yeah, he would have had the fucking bomb. We're dropping the bomb. Yeah.
Find the ring. Or we'll drop the bomb.
I love that.
Well, at this point, the city was borderline chaotic. All of the mighty houses of Gondolin prepare for inevitable battle. And so here we will start covering the 12 houses of Gondolin. Well, I should say start. We're gonna cover them all. We're gonna tell them. We're gonna tell you.
We're not gonna give you a shitload of information about them, but we're gonna tell you a little bit about each one of them. How about that? Let's start with the tippy top, the House of the King. Their leader, of course, is Turgon and friggin' self. They wore white and gold and also red. And their emblem is the moon and the sun in a scarlet heart.
Ooh.
Friggin' cool.
We've also got the House of the Wing, which is, of course, led by Tuor himself. And they wore wings of swans on their helms. And their emblem was a white wing.
Following that, we have the House of the Mole, which wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't led by Maeglin. They wore round caps of steel covered with mole skin, which I'm sure is probably warm, and polished equipment that gleamed with a ruddy glow. But they had no emblem or design, which is kind of sad.
Iconoclast, these guys. Then we also have the House of the Swallow. This is the leader Duilin, and he's the swiftest of all the gnomes, which is the early word for Noldor, right? Mm-hmm. Duilin is also my brain works is so broken now that we were going over this and I was like, Duilin, I feel like that's a name from the Third Age, and I was like, I'm going crazy, right? And I gateway it, and it comes with Duilin is a character in the battle that dies in the Battle of Pelennor Fields. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was just like, damn, how do you like? It's so funny that like a name like this will just be like, I feel like I heard that one character mentioned one time.
So many Third Age men names are like recycled names from
the First Age, which I always thought was weird, but then I thought how not weird it is because we like name our kids biblical names, right?
Yeah,
like that's totally
a thing.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, it would just make sense, right? You name your kids after legends and famous people and shit, right?
Well, we also just pass some of our names down, so like,
over
names
time,
go over time.
Yeah. What's our next house, guy? Oh no, we got to finish the House of the Swallow. Sorry, they had a cool tradition of having a fan of feathers on their helmets. Pretty cool, right? They also wore a white and dark blue and purple and black.
Ooh, I like those colors.
Yeah, that's really cool. In their emblem is an arrowhead. Pretty cool.
Interesting for House of the Swallow, an arrowhead.
I mean, the swallow flies as swift as an arrow. Yes,
sure.
What kind of swallow though? A European swallow or an African swallow?
African swallows are not migratory.
And they're not migratory.
Next house we have is the House of the Heavenly Arch, and this is led by Egelmoth. And something unique about Egelmoth that I just wanted to
this is one of
throw
those
out
things,
there
man.
once I saw it.
How are you not going to add this shit?
So, something unique about Agelmoth is that the narrator in this story states specifically, quote, "And his sword was bent. None else of the Gondolin wore curved swords."
Straight up. So that's one of those things.
Yeah. I don't know, it's always bothered me that in the Peter Jackson films, all the elves,
For some reason.
they frequently almost always have curved swords.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it was sort of like a stylistic thing, trying to, distinguish the flowy elves from, like, the rugged men and whatever. But, like, I don't know, always bothered me. Elves are supposed to have really cool, regular blade. I mean,
broadswords.
Glamdring looked pretty cool, and that's an elven blade. I just wish they would have kept with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so just to throw it out there, it is pretty much canon that the curved blades thing, curved blades thing is a no-go.
You heard it here.
You heard it here. So anyway, the House of the Heavenly Arch. So their house was one of the most wealthy of the 12 houses of Gondolin, and they were arrayed in a rainbow of colors. So their armor and weapons were covered in jewels, and they each had a huge opal set in their helmet, and their emblem was a rainbow of colored gems, just kind of showing off how wealthy Gondolin is.
Just in time for Pride with the rainbow. Dude, it's not going to be Pride when this episode comes out. Fuck. Happy late Pride to everybody.
Yeah, you're in our thoughts.
You're in our thoughts this Pride. Pride is nearly over, and it will be over when this comes out.
So, a couple more houses we've got with small bits of information. We've got the House of the Pillar, which is led by Pinlod, the tallest of gnomes. And they had a deep red emblem. We also have the House of the Tower of Snow.
Yes.
Which sounds fucking dope, if you ask me. Which is also led by Pinlod, tallest of gnomes.
He's double duty.
Yeah.
Double dipping.
We don't get much information about either house other than that they were both led by Pinlod, so he must be a
the only surviving descendant of each line or something like that. I bet there's a story behind that. Hit us up on the Discord if you know the story behind that, nerds. Also, we have next the House of the Tree, which is headed by another name we know from the first age, Galdor. This is obviously not the Galdor of the House of Hador, but this is the most valiant of the Gondolin, save Turgon himself, right? So other than the chief badass, he's the most badass.
Yeah, the House of the Tree is also a particularly large house. They were arrayed in green, and their weapons were iron-studded clubs and slings, and their emblem was naturally a tree.
No way.
It always bothered me that they also they don't have slings in the movies. They mention slings on several occasions in Tolkien.
Well, you never really see them.
Yeah. No, I was reading because I do a little shepherd slinging in my spare time.
Yeah.
So I was reading about like how important slingers used to be in combat, and they were more valued in a lot of times than archers because you can use them in the rain. Yeah. Bows aren't super effective in the rain, right?
Gotcha.
So yeah, they like Alexander the Great, his slingers were supposed to be super effective, apparently.
Very cool.
Yeah. Little slinging knowledge for you guys.
How warfare has changed.
Right, yeah.
Well, our next house is a pretty notable one, the House of the Golden Flower, led by none other than Glorfindel himself.
Yes.
And you may recognize the name Glorfindel, and there is only one ever in Tolkien.
Only one.
There is no other Glorfindel. There's only this one guy, and he actually gets reincarnated into the Third Age. So that's why he comes up later. But the House of the Golden Flower, they were arrayed in gold, naturally, and their emblem was a sun.
Yeah, because the fruit of the sun tree was a flower, right? A golden flower.
A golden flower.
Yeah.
We also have the House of the Fountain, which is led by the great Ecthelion. They were arrayed in silver and diamonds, and they marched to the music of flutes.
Cool.
Ecthelion is also very famous.
Yeah.
Very famous, yeah.
Very famous, yes.
The same Ecthelion, right? We're talking about the
yes,
same
guy.
Yeah.
Just like with Glorfindel, there's only one?
There's only one.
There's only one. Well, actually, there's not, actually.
Oh, no.
Denethor's
Oh, that's right. Oh, my God.
I thought I recognized it from somewhere, but I just believe you guys.
No, there is multiple Ecthelions.
Denethor too is a green elf from the first age. So whatever, guys.
They're everywhere.
Okay.
Well, to top off the House of the Fountain, their emblem is also a fountain.
Nice.
Yes.
Who would have thought?
Why not? Why not?
It's in the name.
Then we got the House of the Harp, which is led by Salgant. Or Salgant. And he's unfortunately aligned with... Oh, so there was a second asshole house. He's aligned with Maeglin.
Yeah, he's kind of Maeglin's slimy friend, basically.
Oh, that sucks.
You know what? As soon as I read the name, I knew it sounded bad. You know,
Yeah.
like Maeglin doesn't it sounds like it's
Salgant.
gonna be a slimy bad guy.
You don't
Salgant sounds like a slimy bad
I
guy.
don't like the cut of this guy's jib. So they arrayed themselves in tassels of silver and gold. Pretty cool. And their emblem was a silver harp on a field of black. That's pretty slick, though.
Oh, they sound
That's
like they'd be
pretty
cool.
Pretty
that
slick.
sounds
Why
pretty cool.
why you gotta like Maeglin like that, man?
Why?
I mean,
And-
Tuor knows how to play a harp really well. Why aren't they buds?
Yeah.
What is this?
That'd be like if somebody somebody from Guitar Center came and stabbed you to death. Like that was, you know what I mean, Trevor? Like it's something you love and are good at,
Oh yeah,
and then he just comes and all of a sudden betrays you like that. Why would they do such a thing?
because there can only be one.
Yeah. Highlander. Last
Well,
but not least, right?
Yes, last but not least of the 12 houses, we have the House of the Hammer of Wrath,
Ooh.
led by Rog, strongest of the gnomes.
Cool.
And they made up... they're made up of mostly smiths and craftsmen of Gondolin.
Oh, cool.
And their weapons were great maces like hammers, and they carried particularly heavy shields. So these are your tanky tanks.
Sick.
And many of the people of this house were recruited from as escaped Noldali that were slaves in the mines of Melko. So they had a particularly bitter hatred for the Balrogs.
Oh, yes. Who would have been there?
And I'm sure that probably
Yeah.
meant that they're also particularly in shape as well.
Oh, they're buff, I'm sure.
And these guys, they were arrayed in red, gold, and black iron, and their emblem was a hammer and anvil.
You think Rog had a buddy named Bal?
Balrog. Yeah.
Yeah, so they can fight fire with fire.
No.
Bal and Rog would fight Balrogs. Is that what you're
Yeah.
fucking saying to me right now? Is
Ah,
this is what we're...
Jesus.
Fire with fire.
My God. God damn it.
So back at Tuor's home, Eärendil, who is a child, was crying because he's afraid of the terrible red lights, obviously. Small child seeing this would be very terrifying. Yes. But we've got an excerpt here that this is kind of the end of our content for the day.
Yeah, we're going to leave you off with this.
We're going to leave you off with this, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the fall of Gondolin next week. But here is our last excerpt from the Book of Lost Tales, Part 2, Section 3, Fall of Gondolin, read by Trev. Take it away, buddy.
In their house upon the walls, Idril arrays herself in mail, and seeks Eärendil. And that child was in tears for the strange lights of red that played about the walls of the chamber where he slept, and tales that his nurse Melith had woven him concerning fiery Melko at the times of his waywardness came to him and troubled him. But his mother, coming, set about him a tiny coat of mail that she had let fashion in secret, and at that he was glad and exceeding proud, and he shouted for pleasure. Yet Idril wept, for much had she cherished in her heart the fair city and her goodly house, and the love of Tuor and herself that had dwelt therein. But now she saw its destroying nigh at hand, and feared that he, contriving, would fail against this overwhelming might of the terror of the serpents.
Damn, and that's where we're going to have to pause the story for today.
Yeah.
Ooh, right as things are about to get like
Not looking
real
good, yeah.
hairy, right? But now you got all the houses, you got the plot that's happening right beforehand.
Exactly.
Yeah. got it all.
It's all one big setup, so it's going to be real exciting.
Yeah, next week, anyone who's ever heard of the Fall of Gondolin, next week is the story that you're going to want to hear. The actual battle,
Right.
everything that happens in there.
The fall itself.
The fall.
All right, guys. So, as we mentioned early in this episode, this tale that we've been talking about is the friggin' earliest of all of Tolkien's Middle-earth tales, right?
Yes.
This is as early as 1917, and a lot of this came up with in the hospital, actually,
Yes.
after the Battle of the Somme.
Yes, when he was on leave.
On leave with trench fever, actually. Sounds fun, right? Is anyone listening ever had trench fever? That fucking sucks, I bet.
God, I certainly hope nobody.
Yeah, I hope not. Like, what conditions did you live in that you had trench fever? I'm sorry, friend. But anyway, So we had an idea, this is an old-timey hospital, so we had some ideas of what might have happened in order for this to come to fruition, these legends, right?
This genesis.
The genesis, the inception of these ideas and concepts.
How did it happen? What are the details here? This is
how we think or hope it happened.
Imagining. Yeah.
It's kind of like a what if,
what if? This is Tolkien KOT what if. All right, guys, enjoy this nonsense. July to November 1917. One of the deadliest battles in human history is fought in northern France. It is known as the Battle of the Somme. There, for the first time, death became fully mechanized, with the widespread use of tanks, airplanes, and machine guns. It is hard to imagine the utter hell experienced by those brave soldiers. Among them was our hero, J.R.R. Tolkien. It was this battle that would be the crucible for the tales of Middle-earth that we are all familiar with, starting, of course, with the fall of Gondolin. Now sit back and please enjoy a KOT rendition of how we think it could have happened. Maybe. Probably not. But let us have our fun, okay?
A young, battle-weary second lieutenant, John Tolkien, checks into the hospital after a horrible time on the front. He has come down with a trench fever and is very ill. As Tolkien enters the hospital, Nigel the orderly comes around the corner with a wheelchair. He forces the young man to sit down. He looks as if he may fall down at any moment.
Hello there, sir. I'm Nigel the orderly. Let me help you there, sir. Just like that. That's a good lad.
Tolkien looks very ill, but still uses his best manners. He is exhausted and feels terrible.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Nigel. This is so very kind of you.
Here we go, sir. Right this way.
Nigel pushes the wheelchair down the hall. He is swift and knows exactly where to go. When they get to the room, Nigel helps Tolkien into bed. His cough continues.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It really is very kind of you.
Nigel puts his hands on his hip and looks at Tolkien, concerned.
Nasty little cough there, eh?
Why, yes. I'm afraid it's quite awful, and the fever is almost unbearable.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I might have something for you. For that cough. Ought to break that fever for you as well.
Nigel looks over his shoulder and reaches into his strange, baggy pants that he wears. Tolkien just now noticed how baggy they were.
Some cough syrup for you, sir.
He hands Tolkien an old glass bottle that says cough and fever remedy. The bottle is heavy and very full.
The doctor won't even give this stuff out anymore. But I say the old stuff works best, eh?
Tolkien looks at the printed label on the back and reads aloud the ingredients.
What do we got? Medical grade, high proof ethanol, cannabis indica extract, chloroform, morphine sulfate.
Nigel's smile grows wider as Tolkien reads the ingredients.
That's a tried and true remedy there, if you ask me, sir.
Tolkien looks nervous.
Yes, I suppose so. How much do I take?
I usually give her an old swig and be done, sir.
Well, all right then.
Tolkien puts the bottle up to his nose and sniffs. He recoils from the smell of the alcohol, and the chloroform makes his head light. He puts the bottle gingerly up to his lips and takes a sip.
Oh, bloody hell, sir. Here we go, my lad.
Nigel shoves the bottle back in Tolkien's mouth, and he chokes down several huge gulps. He coughs and sputters, swallowing much more than the prescribed dose.
Here we are, sir. A fine gulp you took there. Just lay back down and sleep for now.
Tolkien is beginning to feel the effects.
Oh, goodness gracious me. I feel peculiar.
Tolkien lays down his head and remembers no more. He wakes the next day, slowly. Nigel is standing over his bed, looking down at him with a worried smile.
Morning, sir. Oh, sleep well then?
What? Yes, actually. Yes, I did. And I had the most miraculous dreams. Or ideas. They came to me sometime last night after drinking that medicine.
Tolkien is excited at what he had experienced, but it soon fades when he realizes he can't move. He looks down and sees that he has been placed in a straitjacket.
Dear Lord, what is all this? How could this be?
Well, sir, while you were in the throes of, the syrup, you may have had some, strange behaviors. Enough of that, though. What's done is done. Tell me about the dream.
Tolkien looks horrified, but then he remembers his dream.
Well, I followed this stream out of the mountains down into the gate of the Noldor.
Ah, that will make sense then.
What do you mean?
Well, last night you smashed a chamber pot in the hallway.
What does that?
Yep. And then you followed the piece down the drain cover. And by God, you crawled right in. Into the sewer, mind you.
What? That's utterly preposterous. I would do no such thing.
Syrup is a hell of a drug, sir. Never mind. What was next in your dream?
Tolkien is a little grossed out, but continues his story nonetheless.
Oh, well, I followed the stream and I came to an empty city.
Aye. They said you were crawling around in there for quite some time. They say it was there that you stole a blind homeless man's cane and jacket.
But I found armor and a sword placed there by King Turgon under the order of the Lord Ulmo.
Right then. I believe you, sir.
And then later I was taken to this hidden city with elves.
The police say you followed several rats down to the water treatment plant, and that's where they found you, screaming 7 names over and over again.
Tolkien looks astonished, making all the connections. He suddenly looks over at Nigel, determined. He knows what he needs to do.
Nigel, I need to go back.
Nigel smiles, pulling out the old bottle again.
But this time, I need to go deeper. I need it to last longer and with more intensity.
Nigel again smiles and reaches into his baggy pants.
Oh, I've got just the thing for you here, sir.
To be continued.
That's right, guys. It's a 2-parter. Did you see that comment?
Oh,
Bam.
shit. Leave it to us to be long-winded.
Yeah. So, and a couple notes on those things. That cough syrup, that's real.
Yeah, when Danny originally presented us with this sketch, I was like, that sounds like that's a pretty crazy concoction you made up, and he was like, no, that was real. I was like, what the fuck?
No, yeah, I'm looking at the label right now. It's from 1888, so that's why he said the doctors don't do this anymore. So it's, it's 30 years old at this point, but it's called One Night Cough Syrup, and that's the ingredients that he listed in the sketch.
Yeah, one night. The last night you'll ever have.
The last night you'll ever fucking have, dog.
Ethanol, cannabis indica, chloroform.
I've never done that one recreationally.
And morphine.
Yes.
What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah. It's
That's
a
just
cough
like-
syrup, baby.
You're trying to die.
Yeah.
Apparently to make you crawl around in the sewers.
Yeah,
I believe it,
Crawl
man.
around in the sewers, man. Yeah, so we'll see what happens next week when Tolkien comes up with the rest of the tale. So
And how?
and how that happens. So we'll see.
So let's just jump into some final thoughts about the story of the Fall of Gondolin that we talked about today. It's just, I don't know, we wanted to point out how interesting it is, some of the changes that came about between the canon version that we previously covered and this, the older version.
Yeah.
Like, some places don't even exist, like
Yeah.
Vinyumar's not even there.
Mhm.
The whole story with like the elves escaping from Angband and Varanway's place in it all.
Oh yeah, Varanway's never been to Gondolin in this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's not a seafarer.
And he's not a seafarer, yeah.
Yeah.
And in this one, Ulmo has stone shoes, which I always thought was
Weird.
strange.
Yeah.
It's like the metal boots from Zelda. Just sink to the bottom of the lake.
Maybe
Hell
that's
yeah.
what they're for.
So you can walk on the ocean floor.
You sure it's not like concrete galoshes like the mafia uses? You know what I mean?
Or you try to imply that Ulmo
Jesus
got
Christ.
killed by the mafia?
Yeah, Ulmo
Ulmo's actually a ghost.
Ulmo pissed off the Gambino crew and they threw him in the fucking East River.
I bet you his last words were, "Oh, Mo!"
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
Well,
I don't even know how to move on from that. Well, I'm very excited about next week's episode because next week's episode is literally everything anyone who loves Gondolin would want to know about the actual battle of the fall of Gondolin. I feel like every time somebody, you hear about the fall of Gondolin for the first time, and you already know some Tolkien stuff, you're like, oh, wow, that must be so fucking cool. That's got to be the craziest battle ever. And then whenever you go read it, there's really not much of it never really covers the battle.
It's somewhat disappointing.
It is somewhat disappointing. It's always about everything leading up to it, what happens after, but it never actually talks much about the fall of Gondolin.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, guess what?
The title's kind of misleading in that
It
sense.
is, yeah.
It is in a way. Yeah, and you freaking military people out there, you military nerds out there, which, there's a lot of it. I was a History Channel kid, you know what I mean? You guys are going to love this episode, this next episode.
Yeah, it is all the battle.
All the battle. And, well, then we have some fun, some prologue stuff too, do we? Or was that in the next, it's the next episode yet. Yes, guys, so it is all battle fun.
Yeah, next episode it's crazy. He only really wrote out this battle once. And it's in this early version, and it is pretty extensive. It is pretty awesome. So you guys are going to want to check that out. Tune in next week for episode 115, Fall of Gondolin, Part 4.
Fuck yeah.
The war.
The actual fall.
The fall of Gondolin.
The fall for real this time. Okay, thanks for listening to KOT Podcast. Please subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and stay up to date on new episodes, and also rate and review us wherever you find us, because that helps boost us in the algo. And it's just, if you like us, it's also just nice for us to see. Honestly,
we love to see it.
We love to see it. Also make sure you check out our new website. That's super easy. keepontolkien.com. Just simply keepontolkien.com, all one word. This is a hub for all things KOT. Anything we're about to list subsequently after this, you can find there at keepontolkien.com.
Also, a big thank you to our patrons on Patreon. Subscribing on Patreon not only supports us, but also unlocks some exclusive content for yourself. So go and check that out at patreon.com/KOT podcast. We also have some other options for private one-time donations if that's more your speed. Just contact us on social media. We appreciate anything you're willing to give. Thank you.
Also, make sure that you give us a follow on the social medias. We got a Discord. You should definitely go to our Discord.
Join that. That's like, we can't stress enough how important it is to fully enjoy this podcast. It's really a companion to that. And there's some goofy, fun people on there that you'll all enjoy. So please join the Discord.
Plus all the memes and all the images and fan arts that you guys post on there.
Yeah, it's every day. It's going off. Yeah,
it's super, super dope.
Yeah, super fun.
But, you can also find us on the other places where, we're on TikTok and X, formerly Twitter, on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. But, if you want to go to those places, you should just go to our website. Go to keepontolkien.com. We've got links to those different places. And it's a lot easier than trying to remember like 3 or 4 different versions of Keep on Tolkien, because it was, we had to name ourselves how we could find to name ourselves.
Yes.
But I did notice that in our outline the website is gone. So I'm going to do it anyway.
Oh,
I'm going to do it anyway.
It got deleted. Joel, what the fuck?
Right? Because it's tradition. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's going to piss them off.
Specifically, it's for the merch store. The gag used to be like, here's this long thing. Just go to the website anyway. But here's the website. It's keep-on-tolkien-podcast.tml.com.
You got it.
I'm glad that you have your Aura and Tulava as well, Trevor.
It's the T-Mill website.
It's the fucking website.
Oh, man. I think that's it, right? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's all from us, guys. I'm Danny J.
I'm Joel N.
I'm Trevor D.
And together, we are...
Keep on Tolkien.
Even if Joel's not entirely sure. He seemed unsure about that.
Is that my name?
Is it? Here goes, everybody. Aura and Tulava. Why did I say it like that? Because my favorite joke of the night was that Ulmo pissed off the mafia. Thank you, Strawberry. Favorite joke of the night. Unscripted joke, too. Way to go. Love you guys.